a little past 3, so I think we'll get started. We had no idea who was going to come, how many were going to come, but we got plenty of cheers for everybody, I guess. So,
what's he doing, Bart? What's he doing?
he's got some trouble. So, purpose of the meeting is just to introduce you to some new policies regarding the golf course, use of carts, how to repair the golf course when we use it. And the board has just recently passed approved new policies for this. And we just want to tell you about it and listen to any concerns that you may have, and we'll go from there. So with that, I'm just going to introduce our general manager to go over the rules, and let's have at it.
Thank you, and appreciate everyone showing up today. As you know, we've got the golf course project behind us now. Very exciting, and still have some of the turf to still grow in. Some of the side seams still need to root in and grow in. But overall, we're pleased with what we did. It looks like the project's going to be on budget, and we did add a few extra things on the project. But what we really wanted to accomplish today, an educational process here, I'm going to start out with divots and replacing your divots, if you will, fixing a divot. Now, I'm just going to ask a question. How many of you go to Florida during the winter? Probably half, 2/3 of the room. How many of you play golf off the mountain? Let's say in Winston, Raleigh, Charlotte. Okay. So pretty much everybody in the room. Well, there's a big difference in those golf courses, the ones in Florida, particularly in the summertime, and the golf courses down off the mountain, Charlotte, Raleigh. They're Bermuda grass. Their fairways are Bermuda grass. It's a warm season grass. That's why it goes dormant in the winter, greens up in the summer. Florida, probably most of your golf courses overseed with a ryegrass, which is cool season grass. We're cool season grasses up here. And I'm going to use the Bermuda as an example first. You play in Bermuda, they actually tell you do not replace your divot. Why? Because the grass will actually go around that divot and it will not root back into the ground. You fill it with sand. You have to think opposite up here on the mountain. We're cool season grass. We're bent grass. We've got some ryegrass. We've got probably a little bluegrass out there. So we're cool season grasses. We stay green all year. You want to replace your divot if possible. Best thing to do, take that divot and put it back in the hole and step on it. Try to step it down where it's flat. Now, sometimes you take a divot and it just goes into different pieces. If you can collect the pieces, that's okay. But if you can't, sometimes that divot is just too shredded and too many pieces, then go ahead and pour the sand into the hole. That's actually a sand mix. It's not 100% sand, so I should be using the word mix instead of sand. It's actually got some soil in there as well. So the grass actually will grow back, but it's going to take longer to grow back if you fill it with sand. But at least do something to it, because the worst thing you want to do is hit a shot, hit your best drive you hit all day, right down the middle of the fairway, and you get down there and you're in a divot. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? So, everybody clear on that?
You put sand around it after you put your divot back in?
It doesn't hurt. I wouldn't pile it up. I mean, that's almost creating another problem. If you put too much sand, then you build a little bit of a hill. So just kind of take your foot and lightly spread it out. But that's a great idea too. That anytime you can get that grass back into that divot, it's probably going to re-root itself. So try to get that grass back in there. Okay? Make sense? Okay.
And that's on all the fairways.
On all the fairways, the tee boxes, and even in the rough. Sometimes, some players you'll see over in the rough, if it's a little bit thick and wet, they'll take a big divot. Sometimes it might be, 8-10 inches long. Go ahead and put that back as well. The odds that that's going to root back into the ground are very, very good. May not, but at least if you're playing behind that person that doesn't fix it, at least your ball might be on some grass versus in a, you know, half-inch, 3/4 inch deep, you know, hole that's 8-10 inches long. Okay?
How about up at the driving range?
Up at the driving range?
A couple days ago, I stopped in your office, I stopped up there, they're moving the ropes every morning.
Right.
Nobody's back's seated there.
Been seeded.
There were 5 times that the ropes have been moved.
Right.
No seed was put back in there.
It's been,
That's 5 days of germination that you've lost.
it's been done.
That should be, when you move the ropes, put the seed down.
Okay.
I think that's a routine that should be done every day.
Okay. I'll have to refer to Nathan if we can get up there and do that every day, but you're exactly right, at least, but we are going back and putting in a mix and seed into those, and it's been done.
If you had seed up there, I think most of the people that chew up the driving range would put the seed back themselves. Is there some way we could get some seed up there that you can sprinkle? I mean, people that go up there, I go up there and hit irons, and I've chewed it up severely. But if I had something to put back in there, I would put it in
Okay.
there.
I mean, I know we could probably at least get some mixed balls up there on mixed box. I would think that's certainly, you know, we could do that.
I apologize, this came up before I got in there, but when we put the ropes up, we're gonna set the practice balls up in front of the ropes, not back there
On the mat? Okay,
And I've seen people hit off the gas and somebody else
Good point.
up there hitting off practice.
good point. We can take care of that. That's a pretty easy fix there, Terry. Absolutely. Okay.
You can't do both up there. You can't hit from the ropes and hit from the mats behind it. So.
I probably wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. So people are hitting from between the ropes.
I was gonna say,
Have the mats behind them closed.
right.
Put them over to the other
Good
side.
point. It's a good point.
Do one side or the other.
Says mats closed, when you got
Sure.
the ropes out,
Yeah, we can do that.
you know, some people get lucky.
We can do that. Good points there.
Hey, Mike, we'll discuss this with Nathan. Find-
Yeah, yeah, we can discuss it with Nathan, find out what's the best way to do it. One thing you don't want to do, and I'll raise my hand, I've been at courses that have done it, is take the seed and put them in the divot box. It will grow. It will grow in the box. It is, absolutely, it sure is. Bunkers, let's talk a little bit about bunkers. We've got new bunkers. You want to make sure when you enter a bunker to enter on the low side of the bunker, not the high side. Number one, safety reasons. You don't want to slide down that face. It is much easier to rake a bunker, if you will, when you enter the low side. Why? Because you're basically pulling the sand downhill versus if you're up high on the face, you're trying to pull it back uphill. So it's really easier to maintain, easier to get in and out of a bunker if you enter it on the low side. Make sense? Okay.
We need some more rakes.
We realize that. What was that, Nate?
We put more rakes out today.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe the wide rakes instead of the little narrow rakes. The wide rakes is so much.
We've talked about that. I don't know that we can do that this year, but I know Nathan and I talked about that, and actually making them a little bit longer as well. You know, and I agree with you.
Longer rakes?
Yeah,
Yeah, wider for sure.
we've actually talked about doing that. Yeah, so.
They have the
But-
small ones for the ladies.
Okay, well, you're Steve.
Okay. Any questions on, and please rake the bunkers. There's nothing more frustrating than going into a bunker when someone has left their footprints, left their, you know, their sand divot there and hadn't been fixed. So please try to do that. Rake your footprints going out of it as well. Ball marks and spike marks. There is a correct way and an incorrect way to repair a ball mark. When you fix your ball marks on the green, you want to pull in. You want to pull the grass inward. You do not want to use the divot repair, the ball mark repair tool like a spoon and pull up. That's going to pull the roots up. It's going to probably not heal correctly. You're gonna probably tear the roots, so you want to kind of just pull in, work your tee, your ball mark repair tool, just work it around, kind of in a little circle there, pulling everything in, and then just tap it down with your putter. Actually, a change this year, if you've read any of the USGA rules, you're allowed to tap down spike marks now. Was not the case last year. For many years, I don't know, going back as long as I've been playing golf, I don't ever remember being able to tap down spike marks. So you're actually allowed now to tap down a spike mark, which is a huge benefit. And, you know, fortunately, we don't get a lot of them now with the soft spikes. You used to get a lot more with metal, but you're allowed to do that. So if you have a few spike marks, you tap them down. Okay. You know, those are just, you know, some of the ways I think, you know, I was taught as a young kid. My dad played golf, and I have to, you know, bring this up, and he stressed it to me from the time I was probably about 5 years old. He said, every time you play golf, he said, leave that golf course in better condition than it was when you got to it. Meaning, repair an extra ball mark. If you see a, you know, footprints in a bunker, go over there and rake it. You know, not when someone's playing, not in their way, but if you see it, you know, take care of the golf course, because that's a huge investment for us. Huge investment. And it's so much more enjoyable to play a golf course in excellent condition when you know, members are fixing their ball marks, replacing their divots, raking the bunkers. It just makes it more fun for everybody. So be courteous to your fellow members and players. Okay? Any questions on that? All right.
Speaking of that, by the way, I noticed this morning from the rain yesterday, a lot of where divots have been replaced, flooded and wiped out. And it's easy just to flip them back over in the first day or two and then grow right back.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And just lightly step on that divot. You might have to tap it down a little bit, you know, step on it and get it back in. That's a great point. Yeah, you can fix them. And
That's why I like to sand on it, because if the rain will flip them out the mold.
yeah, and that's true too. Yeah, you're exactly right.
So many of them flip the dead.
But if you just put it in there sometimes and don't step on it, it may or may not adhere like it should. It could, like you said, wash out more, knock it out. No, that happens.
But there's some old ground divots in there we might as well throw away and put some sand.
There you go. You're exactly right. You know, and those are, you know, like I said before, those are just ways, if you think about it, that's ways, things that you're doing to take care of the golf course. You're leaving it in better shape than it was when you played. If you got a dead divot, it's probably not going to grow back, more than likely. It's washed out. Little things like that, and all of a sudden, it's amazing how, and it's a team effort. I mean, it really is a team effort amongst the membership to take care of that golf course. 1, 2 groups or people can't do it. You know, Nathan's got, I don't know how many acres out there he has to take care of. So it's a team effort, not only with our golf course maintenance, but the membership, the golfers out there as well. So,
Mike, the course belongs to the members. If they don't take care of it,
well
And
said.
that's
Thank you, Diane.
The purpose of this meeting, really, to your point, is that we own this golf course, and we've invested in this golf course. Now we want to protect our investment. And that's the real reason for this meeting, is just to get the word out that we need your help. Everybody needs to think about it as their own place, and be cautious about where you drive the car, and et cetera, et cetera. Might go over that now.
Sure. Carts. Carts can, you know, they certainly make golf more enjoyable. They allow us to play into our, you know, extend our golf careers, if you will. It really adds a lot of enjoyment to the game. But, you know, golf carts also can do, you know, some pretty significant damage to the golf course if you're not careful. You know, we obviously do not have continuous cart paths here at High Meadows. We know that. But we do have cart paths. So, you know, use the cart paths. You know, try to maintain, you know, you should always get your cart back on the path when possible. Now, a couple things here when you approach the greens. Your cart should go back to the path. You want to get on that path as soon as possible with all 4 wheels. We see it all the time. You play here, you go to any golf course, you'll see the little wear patterns, you know, of where the tire tracks are, you know, 8, 10, 12 inches off the path, and there's the rut there. keep all four wheels on the path, not just two. If you've noticed too, we've got some new cedar posts out on the golf course. We're still letting some of the sod grow in, but we've got, we're going to eventually move them where they're a little bit wider. Where some holes are still a little bit tight now, where we've got some new freshly sod laid. But we ask that you please don't drive between the post and the green. Once you get those posts in there, depending on the hole, some of them are 10, 15 yards, some of them may be closer to 20 yards off the green. But you should go back to the cart path. Don't drive up between the post and the greens. Get back on the path there. As we said, all four wheels kept on the path, and that also applies to tee boxes. See it all the time, and I'll raise my hand. I've been guilty of it, and I know probably everybody in this room has at one time or another. All of a sudden, you pull two wheels off the path. Well, you're a foot closer to that tee than you were. Keep all four. And that's just taking care of our golf course. One thing that will be a changed rule: all carts should remain on the path on par 3 holes, tee to green. And we've got there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, we've got some pretty steep hills out there. And we don't want anybody getting hurt. There's some steep hills going down. Well, really, you look at all of our par 3s, 5, 8, 11, 17. There's some pretty sizable hills going down. We don't want anybody to roll over in a cart. But also, if you think about it, on a par 3, most of your shots, when you tee off on a par 4 or 5, you kind of spread out. Someone's down the left side of the fairway, someone's on the right. Hopefully everybody's in the middle, but happens sometimes. But a par 3, you're more directed, you're closer to the green. And what can happen, you can start to create a lot of wear patterns on par 3s. Plus, you start getting more cart tire traffic around the greens. So we ask that you please keep your carts on the path on all par 3 holes.
What about number 8?
What about number 8? It does have a cart path now. It's got a cart path. I realize we are going to put...
I physically cannot get up to that green. I can't get up to that green with a set of steps.
Okay.
And if you tell me that's all it's going to be, I will have to skip number 8.
Okay.
We got several guys in our 10 o'clock group too that cannot get up to 8.
Right.
I can't get up to 8. The way my
Okay.
vehicle's now. I'd rather
So we're keeping number 8 good. So we're going to lose players.
Right.
just at the top of the track, beyond the outside of that. Then it's accessible to everybody.
I understand that it might be a traffic one.
Yeah.
Another path coming up the right side.
Yeah, there's a
towards the truck.
turn coming up on the outside where the sand trap is with a cul-de-sac to turn around and come right back down that path. You know,
Yeah.
because then you can access 8, but I cannot climb that set of stairs if you put them over there, and I certainly can't climb the ground.
I'll admit, Bill Berger did a terrific job on the course, but there's probably the one spot where that's tough, because it is steep from the path to the green. Now, I must say that if you take a direct line from the turnout and go up, it's extremely steep. But if you go this way a little bit, it's a lot more graded this way and then around that way.
There's a section right below there, though, where you park your car. There's a section about yay wide. If you walk across, you come right up to that, where the new grass is put in. So it's a gentle walk up, and you just walk up to the slope. It's not,
It's a lot easier, so in the meantime, okay?
Yeah, but
let's
it's an
consider this.
incline that has kept me off the course since then.
Okay, I'm good with it. And we're gonna check out the pricing on getting a path up that side. And try to do it so aesthetically it fits.
So until then, do I get a handicap flag? I can't go up there? Remember guesses.
Well, even with the, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but even with a handicap flag, you still have to stay 30 feet from the green.
That would be 30 feet from the green, but I'm just saying, on the outside of that sand trap,
When you take your car around, is that interesting?
I don't want to take it behind the green, I just want to take it to the
Top of the hill.
The top of the hill, where you can turn around on the right-hand side of the sand trap.
You can see where carts have done that.
I can see the, yeah, my house is right behind her. I can see exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
There's people that go up there behind, they drive all the way behind the green and then come down that steep hill and the car goes away. And that new grass in that there, if somebody has an accident there, it's gonna be their fault.
Well, that's it, but, you know, as you leave the car path, you walk that side, that's the right side, that's all new sod. So in essence, we're killing it by going over it.
I don't think all of that's new stuff.
There's a patch of new sod, maybe 6 or 8 feet wide. But
I think
we're, you know what, I'm listening to you, we're gonna try to figure out something, because that's, again, I'll say it, this is the one area where we'll just,
I'm just saying that is a design flaw. That's as nice as I can.
You might be able to spend the money you were thinking about on the steps.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. I think the inside gets better than steps.
well, let's find out what you're from.
Sure, absolutely.
And talk to Nathan about where he thinks we should go to.
And it's not a whole lot more than the steps to run asphalt.
Well, we'll take steps.
We'll take a look.
Want to know that we'll work at it. I know it's an issue.
You gotta do a little bit of grading there.
Yeah, you have to do something.
Yeah, wouldn't be a lot of grading,
Okay.
right? Okay. Okay, of course, we always ask that you please adhere to the cart directional signs. Maybe a wet area, yes, we do have sometimes that an irrigation head may have stayed on longer than it should have, maybe a wet area that has not drained like it should have. So, you know, Nathan will put out signs to keep you out. More than likely it's wet. It could be some new sod that we've put down. So we ask that you definitely adhere to the cart directional signs and the daily cart restrictions of carts on path. Yes, we do not have continuous paths, but you know, when you're out there and we've had, you know, 1 inch, 2, 3 inches of rain, which tends to be probably more the norm now than not, you know, try to get that cart back on the path. It's just going to eliminate that wear and tear and those ruts, because those ruts with carts can stay there a while, particularly when it's wet. Yes, sir.
I think we need to get a few new signs too, for directional signs. We got one on number 2, looks like it was used when we opened it.
It may be one of the original ones.
Let's throw some of those.
Yeah, there you go. We can do that. Good point, Terry. Absolutely.
Well, the other thing I just want to mention, sorry to keep interrupting you, but that's what I do. The car path issue, the long-term planning subcommittee that we formed, that's one of the things on it. We'd like to someday have car paths through the entire golf course, because we lose revenue when we have rain days and we can't go on the course. We could actually do, you know, car path only course day if we had car paths. So I just want you to know that that's part of the long-term planning commitment that we're making. Can't tell you when, it just depends on when.
We could talk, verify with Nathan, when I was on that committee, that issue was cussed and discussed. There was a couple of holes, they said, they just, you can't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk.
10 and 12 were the 2 main ones.
Good point.
I'll certainly
Good
get
point.
to be involved in any decisions like that.
Yeah,
But I'm
absolutely.
just saying, he can verify we're going to
But we're not quit.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, Mike, sorry.
Not a problem. Handicap flags. We do allow handicap flags, and they're provided to players with physical limitations. Player requesting a handicap flag needs to just get a letter from their doctor stating what the medical condition is, and just bring it by the office there. We'll review it. I'll review it, but also we have a doctor that's going to review it, and just turn it in. And we'll keep it on file and we'll review it every year. I know some injuries, ailments, maybe a temporary ailment, you know, that you've had a, you know, knee replacement, hip replacement, whatever it might be, that in 6-8 months, and the doctor's probably telling you, hey, it's good for you to walk, you know, that you may not need that handicap the next year.
When does
So-
that policy go in place? The tournament's in 2 days, and I'm not going to be back at my doctor's office. I mean, I physically can't do that.
Okay.
I think we'll take individual
You can,
situations into account.
you can see my cane, I'm pretty sure.
And temporary handicap flags, that's, you know, we can do those, and I know you've had some issues this year.
I want to get over it.
Sure. Exactly.
We're not trying to make it tough on people, we're just trying to protect the course.
Right,
And
right.
obviously, if you have a medical issue, or you need
Right.
handicap
Right. So we'll work with you on that. It's not as far as handicap flags, use the 90-degree rule when possible. We ask that you adhere to all of the other cart policies as written. Daily cart path restrictions. If we've had 3 inches of rain and can't allow carts out, we can't do it. And that is not only for the golf course, but for your safety. That carts can slide up here on the bent grass we have very, very easily. We do have hills out on the golf course. So not only is that done for protection of the golf course, it's also done for your protection, and it can get slick. Couple exceptions for handicap flags. We do have some exceptions there. Carts must remain around the tee boxes, all 4 wheels. And if a cart path is not available, there are certain tees out there. We don't have cart paths that go right up next to the tee. You cannot drive within 15 feet of that tee. Particularly some of the more forward tees, some of them have cart paths right there. Some of the fairway tees do not have cart paths. So just make sure you keep your carts away from those. Don't go any closer than 15 feet from those tees. They are a tee, even though it's in the fairway. You don't want to drive a cart across those or up next to them.
A good example of that is 16.
16 is an example. 16 is a good example. 12, 13. There's quite a few. 2. So we ask, just please make sure you don't drive any closer than 15 feet from those tee boxes. And carts may not be driven any closer than 30 feet from any green or collar. Those are the handicap exceptions there. The other, the regular cart rules, obviously you want to be back on the path, not going inside the post. We're reported violations of stated cart policies that we've discussed today. We're going to review we'll discuss with the discuss the issues with the member that violates them, and we hope this will never happen, but down the road it possibly could result in some suspension of golf privileges. If you continue your frequent offender, then we've asked, we're going to send these policies out to every member, make sure they've got them, they know them. That's why we had this meeting today, and we're just asking, please, it's your investment, please protect your golf course. It makes a better experience for everyone. No one likes hitting out of divots or cart tracks, so we're just really trying to protect the golf course here. Okay? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, we were playing golf Sunday, and we noticed several enormous divots in the fairway, number 6 especially. And I think it's incumbent on all members that bring large groups of people up here to advise them of the divots.
Sure.
Because of the full season grasses. Or large family groups come up, and I think that the members need to be more cognizant of educating their family members and their friends about the divots because of the full season grass. A lot of people come from different areas, as you say, and often they don't know any better.
You're exactly right. I mean, that's why there was a method to my madness earlier when I was talking about how many, ask you to raise your hands if you play on a warm season grass. Well, we got member guests coming up. I'll bet a lot of our guests just, they probably play on a lot of warm season grasses. They're told the dead opposite. Hey, don't replace your divot, it won't grow back. They're told to fill the hole with sand. Well, we put the divot back in. So it is a little bit confusing. It really is. And that's a very good point. That's something we can put on, the golf carts as well. So thank you. Good point.
That'd be a nice announcement, so we can make tomorrow morning too, or Thursday morning, Friday morning, about the divots.
We can, please replace, absolutely. 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 Okay.
Good. Just let you know that there's snacks here, the bar's open, you're here, you're readily. Now, Nathan, you want to say something?
One last thing, couple things that is just one thing that I'm seeing, and has nothing to do with divots or ball marks or anything else, but for your fellow members, you know, with the new rule that you can putt with the flag stick in now while you're on the green, if you will, I'm noticing afterwards, people are going and picking the balls out with the flag stick still in, and it's pulling back on the cup face and tainting. If you'll take the palm of your hand and just ride it down the flag stick to pull your ball out, it won't hurt the edge of the cup for your members that are behind you. Unless you're intentionally trying to sandbag somebody that never gets behind you, then that's different. But if you'll just take the palm of your hand and ride it down the flag stick, it won't hurt the edge of the cup whatsoever.
Terry?
Along the lines of, you know, messing up the greens with divots, some of the tees with divots and stuff like that, yeah, I'm a little concerned about the outside tournaments we got coming up. I mean, this is a brand new course, it's not grown in, the side's not established, and we got a Pro-Am, we got a CGA event, we got a fire department event. That's a lot of stuff, and this course is gonna get really beat up. And I don't know if it's too late to cancel any of that stuff, but I think we're making a mistake by doing it.
When you first brought that to my attention, I spoke with Todd about that, and David, and it is really to cancel those. We're gonna be aware of it. Nathan and his crew is gonna be around the course and making corrections to the problem. But I hear you, it's just too late to cancel it.
All right.
Does it make sense to have marshals from the club during those?
Yeah, we could, let me talk to Nathan and Todd and Tim about that. I would think that during the tournaments, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have someone just driving around.
I'm telling you, every time we got these guys out here, especially the Pro-Am or like the CGA event, you got a bunch of young kids that take a swing hard like Mike, have huge divots, and they're not used to replacing them the way we do it. And it beats it up, and I'm afraid of what's gonna happen on this new side.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
That's a
big.
concern to know. I think that, Todd, I'm sure will be making an announcement prior to any of the tournaments this year, stressing the fact that we have a new golf course basically. So he'll be doing that as well. Dan?
This doesn't pertain to what Terry was talking about, but back to Nathan talking about the cups. We need some new cups. They are worn out. The flag won't stand straight enough. So maybe we can get that in some budget.
You know,
With that?
what about a huge banner in the pro shop and maybe on a table, you know, like the tournaments that say, replace your divots? You know, something that's big, that gets people's attention, you know, when they go to the pro shop or, you know, checking in to play in the tournament, it's there, you know, so.
Well, it's all about communication. You're right. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Again, we'll leave that to the pros, to Todd and Tim and to Nathan to figure out what's best to do, and then we'll do that. Dave?
Couldn't we, I don't want to say rope off, but do something akin to roping off the areas that we really don't want people in hacking around with?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just under construct or under repair kind of line.
We can make a ground repair, but again, that's Nathan's call. I know he roped off a lot. Nathan, how much rope did you use?
6,000 feet.
6,000 feet
I
of rope
saw we
already.
had some extra yellow number 4, there was a brush tag.
But we could mark it. I mean, we can just mark it to stay out.
Well, once again, one thing I pride myself on is, I don't know how to run a golf club. I'm not into runners. We've hired Nathan, we've got Todd and Tim, the professionals. I'm gonna challenge them to come up with a plan to protect the course. That's what we should do, and then we listen to what their suggestions are and we do it. That said, any other questions?
I do. I have one question. I've been in different courses, I guess, for like 40 years, and what concerns me, we're talking about wear and tear on a new course. I don't understand why we allow members to play a 5-sum with 5 different cards, or 4-sum with 4 different cards. And it's, you know, we pulled up there the other day on number 9, we thought there was a tournament going on. Every course I've ever belonged to, you're allowed 2 cards per foursome. That's Florida, Missouri, any place I've ever been a member of. Unless there's a special medical condition that might allow somebody else, or somebody's wife is expecting or something like that. But I mean, to have 9 carts, 11 carts, and 3 groups going out, the wear and tear of the course, I think, is tremendous. And I don't see why we allow it.
You're exactly right. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with Bill Berger about cards. I said, what's the most damaging thing on a golf course? and carts because of the rest of wear and tear. The board has discussed your point at great length. We are coming up with this new policy, we're taking it a step at a time. The other thing that's different about our course than maybe the courses you're referring to is that, what, 90% of people have their own carts.
Yeah, but in Florida, where we belong to, 90% of people have their own carts too.
Okay,
And they still don't allow
okay,
the carts out.
okay.
So there used to be a policy to that effect. I don't think it's still there.
No, there's no policy set right now.
But you shouldn't be forced to ride with a smoker say, when you're not a smoker, you know.
I understand that totally.
Certain
Are we
criteria.
saying we need to limit the number of rounds we have?
Right.
I mean, a typical day, we get 30 or 40 rounds. You know, 3 or 4 extra carts is not gonna make a difference.
Well, we get to, when do we
You
get to
know, we might get some members on here, enough members that that's a problem. Sure, it's a lot of problem today.
Todd, how many rounds do you play here?
Annually?
Yeah.
Well, a typical good year when we don't have something like this going on, probably around 11 or 12,000,
And how many do we have an average day a week?
probably 40 to 50.
Well, a single driving course cannot survive on 20,000 rounds. I know that for a fact.
So, I hear what you're saying, we're gonna take it a step at a time, we're gonna try to address that in the future, but the first step with these changes, and everybody will get a copy of these changes, both email and in the mail.
I was just wondering, I understand lots of courses I played, of course, you can't drive on 3-car, but I have no doubt that there are any number of members here who cannot walk should they hit their ball out and it's down at the bottom on number 8. And they have to walk all the way down that hill and then back up. So what do? Just leave them or?
That's true of all of our park threes. If you hit it on 17, it's the same thing. If you hit it down on 5, it's bottom of the hill, you know.
I said, if you hit a ball down at 17 on the left or in the ditch or something like that, you
17,
can't
I
find
think,
it.
is the one I was talking about, actually. But
I'm sorry?
I think 17 is the one I was talking about
Okay.
instead of. Hey.
No, I mentioned this to one of our staff, I won't mention the name that I was speaking with, but this person said, you hit a ball down there, just don't worry about it, move on.
That's
It's a
a
walk or two.
particular part of everything else, probably.
Well,
Okay.
I don't think there are a number that can do it, but there is.
Yeah, it is, there are areas in any golf course, I guess, that are hard to walk, certainly in the mountain courses. And I would suggest that if you hit a ball in an area where you can't safely get down and back, forget about the ball, drop the ball, and hit another one.
Well, that'd be kind of hard to do probably with some people. I'm not playing in the desk, but you would hate to knock it down there and then weren't able to go down there and hit it,
Mhm.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wish I had the magic wand answer for you, I don't.
Of course, I don't want to say-
Anything else? Anybody? Well,
Every time we have a shotgun, I see people, you know where I live over there, I see people driving down number 1 to get out to 18T or 17, driving down number 1 and driving across 18 fairway and 1 fairway to get over there when we got a perfectly good cart path. It goes right out around 18, goes right up by my house, right out there. But why is everybody going down number 1 and driving across 2 fairways? You talk about cart damage. By the end of the year, there are brown spots all the way across there where they go across.
yeah, I agree with that, that's an education.
That's every shotgun, that's Wednesdays, Saturdays, whenever we have a shotgun. They head down that cart path and across.
Okay, so again, what we'll do, what I would suggest that we do, is the pro shot, the shotgun, just tell them, hey, listen, if you start on 18 or 17, use the cart path on 18. Don't cut across 1 and 18. It's simply communication, I think.
Or you can have one of the guys that work here that think, lead the group out to that tee box just going around.
Yeah.
Just have the carts lined up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever else. And then your number 18, wherever else you follow us to go this way here. At least it's a possibility.
Pete, had something?
Yeah, curious, I know that CGA was here today. Did we get any comments back on the changes?
I talked to a couple of them. They were, and Todd, please feel free to jump in. I talked to a few of them, they said they thoroughly enjoyed the golf course. I don't know how many of them, I didn't ask if you played here before. Several of them said they really liked it. They primarily were here to do they were here to do the course rating. And so hopefully we'll have that back. They give you any time frame, Doc?
No.
Hopefully we'll get it back soon.
Todd, you heard anything?
This, that they liked what they seen, and liked all the changes, and, they said, I talked to them a little bit about the ratings, they said the ratings could possibly go up just from the standpoint of, a couple of bunkers, fairway bunkers, but nothing other than that.
Okay. Anybody else, questions, comments?
So the committee that's looking at extending the cart paths, another area that we need to spend some money is subsurface drainage in a number of areas where we've got water that's not moving.
Yep.
Thank you.
I would hope that we would put some money out to Nathan to be able to solve the subsurface drainage issues. There's a lot of places you could do small fixes to subsurface.
Most of them were, like number 4, that was all taken care of.
How about 5, water
We
stand?
still have 14, so we can go do a few others.
This is not related to taking care of the course, but it may speed up a little play. On number 9, where we have the high grass over there below the bunker, I think we're gonna have a red, penalty area there so that you can take a drop and not have to go back to the tee if you hit in there. If you drive your ball in that thing, you gotta go back to the tee after searching around and not finding it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a local rules you can do.
Well, I have to do that 2 years ago.
A bush off.
I don't mind that, as long as you don't have to take instructor customers.
No, I think that's a local rule that we should look at. Anybody else? Okay, thank you everyone for being here. We got food, we got the bar open. You'll get a copy of the new rules, new policies.